Hey everyone, this is going to be an analysis of Max's new 1418. Huge congrats to Max for this again. Finally, someone else has a sub 15 now, and it's Insomniac, which is very cool. Um, so yeah, let's just start with the preview here. This top seed, obviously, very good deep ocean islands with a ship visible already. So this is probably going to be a very good start. Um, so yeah, instantly swims towards the ship, checks coordinates and obstacle distance, which is all good. Coordinates are pretty far out, like 300 out maybe, and neg neg, which is this way in the ocean. Um, so he doesn't really check the ocean this way for some reason. He just sort of beelines straight to the ship, not really looking around. Which, I mean, all the chunks haven't loaded in yet, so I guess it's not a big deal, but you want to be checking the ocean around you as soon as possible. Because if, like, for instance, he saw there was just some land right here and there was just no ocean this way, then that would be good information to start looking like other directions. Um, but yeah, decides to loot the ship first and goes up to the top here to break the slab, but this ship isn't buried, so you could have just gone in the front here. So I'm not sure why he decided to go up here. I mean, this is fine if it's like a buried ship and you can't enter the front, but yeah, no, that's just sort of a time loss. Um, then gets wood like normal. Still, it kind of like checking the ocean in this direction, which is not the correct direction. Well, it's not the direction he wants to be going in. Um, but I mean, it doesn't hurt to like check your surroundings in all directions, I guess. But yeah, he still hasn't really looked in the right direction for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, makes tools, very nice crafting. Grabs the food, doesn't get the boots, but I mean, they were just feather falling, so it doesn't really matter. But I mean, more armor doesn't hurt, so I like grab it most of the time. Um, okay, nice F1 there. So yeah, decides to go mostly neg-x, which, I mean, these coordinates are pretty much equal. Like, there's only 30 blocks between them ish. So, I mean, ideally, you want to be going this way. I think he sees this ocean is more open than this direction, which is kind of true, but like, I don't know. Well, he sees the tiger here, which is a good indication that this ocean is not going to be very good. But there is also shallow ocean here and here. The only deep ocean in this direction is like straight here, and that's probably going to close up soon. Um, but yeah, so this isn't really looking particularly promising for a monument in this direction at the moment, at least. But he does see a dolphin and gets it immediately, which is good. And then it just so happens that there's a monument right here, hidden behind this island, which is very nice because it's in like the perfect direction. So low surrender, since this monument is probably very close to being in spawn chunks. Um, but it would probably be quite hard to tell, so I would lower my render here as well, just on like the chance that it isn't in spawn chunks, and then you don't have to risk getting donged. But yeah, monument routing, pretty standard. Nothing really to say. Well, okay, misplaces a door, which is not the best, but losing one door isn't a huge deal. Does he keep the dolphin as well? He does, which is very nice. Sometimes when you do this routing where you have to go to the other side and like dig in from this way, you can lose the dolphin because there's like nothing keeping it there. So sometimes it can just swim off, which is a bit annoying. But luckily this time he didn't get that, and so he can keep the dolphin after the monument, which is nice. So leaving the monument at like 140, which is very good. Now ups his render distance again, changes his pie chart. It took a little while, but you know, it's got there in the end. Does he already have? It's kind of hard to see, but where is it actually? Okay, there you go. I think you can see, like right now, there isn't a brewing stand on Pi, but there you can tell there is a village, and he knows it's a tiger village somewhere because it had a campfire on there. So he knows it's probably going to be in this direction, and then he sees it over there. I don't know at this point if he did see it had a brewing stand, but he's going straight to it. So I guess maybe if it didn't, he was just going to play like Insomniac.AA or something, but then he checks his pie chart there and sees it has a brewing stand. Maybe he saw that earlier, but I couldn't quite tell from the video. But yeah, this village is in a very good direction away from spawn, so this is like looking like a pretty good run, and then also gets a ton of emeralds in that ship. So now entering the village with 11 emeralds, like a low 3 minutes, which is pretty good. Stops to dig gravel, which is nice. He doesn't get the flints. He has to pick it up later, which is a bit annoying. So now, yeah, entering the village like 3:14. Then, okay, crafts 3 gold axes, which is good because that will get him 24 emeralds. So, okay, this village split I'm probably gonna have quite a lot to say about, because Insomniac village routing is like my specialty now. Okay, so to start off, he only got 1 flint from when he was in the ocean here, and obviously you want 2 flint for a fletching table, so it's very hard to overlap grinding flint for gravel with anything. The only thing you can really do it with is a cleric restock, which is kind of hard to make work because then you have to trade with the cleric first before you have all of your emeralds. And so then you have to trade with the cleric and then go around like the entire village gathering your emeralds and then go back to the cleric to finish trading. So sometimes it can work, but a lot of the time you'll just be backtracking and sort of losing time. So most of the time now, I like to just grind my flint before doing anything, basically. So I would just like grind my flint right now to get the second flint so I could craft a fletching table immediately. But I mean, it doesn't really matter if you do it right now or after mining some logs. It kind of just, as long as you do it before you start trading, I think that's the best way to do it. But yeah, so you don't have to do it now, but it's fine, really. So grabs 1 log to make sticks, and then makes 3 gold axes, because 1 gold axe is 8 emeralds, and he has 11. So 11 plus 3 times 8 is 35, and you need 34 for 12 pearls in Insomniac. So that's all good. And then starts mining. This obviously is pretty boring. It's just mining logs. Tiger villages are like pretty good for mining logs. They're not the best, obviously, compared to like Savannah or Tundra, but they're a lot better than Plains villages, for example. So yeah, this is not really much to say. It's just mining. Yeah. Okay, so here he's about to finish his second gold axe. So he's going to have to get 24 emeralds, which you can do with just 1 Fletcher with discount extending. So what I would do here is, if I didn't grind my flint at the start, I would definitely do it now so I could make my fletching table and start trading, and then overlap the Fletcher restock with mining the rest of the logs. So here, okay, he grabs chests and beds, which is fine. Then starts mining more logs. So yeah, he doesn't go and overlap the Fletcher restock with mining more logs, which would be fine if he overlapped it with something else. For example, starting the cleric trades. But he doesn't have his brewing stand right now, so he can't do that yet. He's gonna, because the brewing stand house is like at the very back of the village. One good thing though is he does save 4 logs. I don't know why he saves 4. You only need 6 planks for a shield. Maybe, yeah, I don't really know why he saved 4. You only need to save 2 because then you have 8 planks at like minimum, and that will get you a shield and 4 sticks for gold pickaxes. So yeah, you don't need to save 4. You need to save 2. So yeah, now grinding flint gets a first try flint, which is nice. Then across the Fletcher table, and then yeah. So when he breaks this composter, the guy immediately pathfinds to one of the stone cutters on the blacksmith house, which is a bit annoying. It's kind of just unlucky, really. But one thing is that for like a long time, I thought that if you broke the job block and then after that placed a new job block, that would make the villager get the new job quicker. But it turns out that if you have the new job block already placed, then when you break the old job block, it can like pathfind to it immediately, basically. So it's like even faster. So I'm trying to do it now where you place the new job block first, like right next to the old one, and then break the old one, and then hopefully it would do the same thing here, as it like immediately took the job at the stonecutter, but instead the fletching table would already be down, and so it would immediately take that instead. But yeah, unfortunately that didn't happen, and he has to break the stonecutters, and then he like didn't see that the guy had already become a Fletcher. So he goes and breaks it. Another thing here actually is he's offhanding food right now, so he can't do the thing where when you break a job block, you offhand something, so you don't have to go into your inventory and take it out. Just a tiny little time save, but if you do that 4 or 5 times throughout the course of a village split, then that can save like a few seconds. So this is why, well, it's not only why, but it's one of the reasons why I don't like to offhand food. But yeah, then it's a little bit unlucky with getting 1/3 on the Fletcher, but then this guy gets it, and then yeah, this is all fine. Punches the guys in the boat to get them closer to the thing. I'm not really sure where he was going there, but that's fine. Didn't need to break the fletching table because you already have all of your emeralds, so you're not going to need to do any more trading with a Fletcher. So that was just unnecessary, really. Then obviously now ready to trade with the cleric, so going to get the brewing stand over here. Grab another bed on the way, which is good. It's kind of annoying, this cleric house is like so out of the way. Yeah, here it's another thing. Again, could have offhanded something to get the brewing stand on your hotbar immediately, but didn't, and now has to take it out of his inventory again. So yeah, like I said, if you do that a few times in a village split, then it can add up. This guy breaks job block, yeah, that's all fine. Again, you want to place a job block first before you break the odd one, but in this situation it doesn't really matter because there's no other nearby job blocks, so it won't like take another job in the meantime. Trades. Doesn't put the guy in a boat. You should always put the cleric in a boat, especially in this situation where if this guy misses this restock, you don't have anything else to do. Like, you're not going to be able to overlap this with anything except maybe grabbing like another 2 beds or something. But it, like, you want to make sure in this situation that this guy restocks like on the first try, because otherwise you're just wasting 15 seconds basically. But yeah, overlapping this restock with grabbing a bed and crafting is fine. Also using the crafting table in the house, which is nice. Luckily the guy did not wander away. Okay, now Max knows this already, but it's, well, like 6:30. You've got plenty of time, and he doesn't do backup. Now, look, backup is good. You should do backup. I don't really know why, like, lots of people don't do backup. It's weird. It doesn't really make any sense. Yeah, it's slower. It's like slower by like maybe like half a second. It's literally slower by the amount of time it takes to like shift click a gold trade, which is like nothing. That is if you don't get 1/3. Then if you do get 1/3, your run isn't dead and you can continue playing by trading with another villager. So yeah, I don't know why people don't do backup. This situation is like, I can maybe understand, like, if you thought about doing backup and then decided not to, I could maybe understand that. But he did say he just forgot, which is just not good. So yeah, to do backup. The reason I could understand not doing backup here is because it's 6:30, which isn't like close to the end of trading hours. Like, you've still got a minute left. But this whole time when he's walking around this area of the village, he doesn't see any other villagers nearby. So getting another villager probably be like some guy in this direction, which is further away from the direction he wants to go. And it would also mean he would leave the village probably like 7:15 maybe, which is pretty bad. Like, a 7:15 village leave is not great for sub 15. So yeah, I could maybe understand not doing backup here, but still, it would mean if you got 1/3, he could continue the run, and even if he did get 1/3 and continued the run, this would still be a very good run. Even if it wasted like 30 seconds. But yeah, okay, doesn't do backup. Gets the 2/3, which is nice. Grabs this bed, and now he is out of the village. Decides to, okay, this is a bit weird. Decides to offhand the shield here, and then decides to offhand the food again before he leaves. I'm not really sure why he decided to offhand the shield for like 10 seconds, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. Here, obviously, now looking for another enter. Looking in the ocean is definitely the better play here, because looking in Tiger, I mean, you never find a lava pool in a Tiger, especially a mega Tiger. So yeah, definitely want to be in the ocean here. I would turn hitboxes on to see kelp in the water for a ravine. In 1.15, it doesn't really work as well as in 1.16 because you can't change the entity distance, so it's always just at 100%. So you can't see kelp from very far away. But it still does help sometimes if there's like a really small bit of a ravine that is exposed and the kelp's gone on, like, floated on the top of it, and you can't really see it. But I mean, this ravine is pretty obvious, so it doesn't really matter. Tiny thing, like, once you see the obsidian here, you should just immediately get out of the boat, because you want to start going down as soon as possible. Because like when you're swimming down, you're also swimming like towards the ravine as well. So I mean that's just like a tiny time save. But yeah. Then what was that? What did he do? He got the doors out. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Grinds more gravel even though he already has gravel in his inventory. Which I mean I guess it's fine, but you should probably just make the portal and then grind the gravel in the portal. Just offhand gravel and grind it that way. But I mean, yeah, it doesn't really matter. Gets on the third one, then makes standard straight portal. Turns off the crafting book. Did he do that? He did. Okay, that's a sure. I guess I don't really see why there's a need to do that. But yeah, all right, fine. Okay, yeah, entering Nether. Oh yeah, what is his coordinates actually? Entering Nether minus 500, minus 1000, which is very good. Especially, well, it's like a 743 Nether enter, 744, which is pretty good, but not the best. I mean, if you get a good Nether split, like sub 230, then this is going to be a good I3. And as you can probably tell, this is probably going to be a good Nether. Judging by the fact that he is spawned on the fortress. So yeah, this Nether is pretty good. So changes difficulty. You should change your difficulty as soon as possible in the run. I didn't mention that earlier, but the fact that he only changed difficulty in the Nether, I mean, this before the Nether, you are just like boating around and it being in a village, which is not gonna, you're not gonna get damaged that much, if at all. But like sometimes you can get hit by guardians and things, and yeah, just saves a tiny bit of food to switch to easy like as soon as possible. Okay. So yeah, on the fortress, there's a resistance was good. This is a very, 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 very nice Nether. Gets a shield out. Gets a 3 spawn on the first cycle, which is very nice. Okay, now here, this is an interesting Nether. He sees these 2 blazes, which is good. We go and kill these guys. Then also sees a lot more. Here you can see, so these guys shoot here. So by the time he gets over to these guys are about to shoot at him, and yet he still tries to go in for the hit on this guy. Like, he should know these guys are both about to shoot when he's like bridging over here, so he should probably be a bit more careful and like shield like as he lands on the bridge. But yeah, manages to just about block Hutch, which is pretty, I mean, that was pretty cool. But I mean, shouldn't have needed to do that really. But yeah, killing these strays is a good idea because I mean it's just 3 blazes, and there's also I think where is it? Yeah, the other spawner is there. I think you can't really see it on the video because it's very pixelated. Is this? Yeah, that's the highest quality. But yeah, I think the other spawner is here, like on this 4-way section. So going over to this way where there's 6 strays and a spawner, yeah, you want to go this way. So yeah, after this, then has to deal with these 3 blazes behind here and this guy at the same time. And it's not helped by the fact that he just got hit twice and is only on 3.5 hearts. So I mean, this is a pretty precarious situation at the moment. So yeah, just sort of plays it safe and just kills this guy as soon as possible. Luckily, that rod did not drop in the lava, but it could have very easily. So yeah. Also, I mean, this lava doesn't help. But now here, what I would probably do is like go into this, just jump over here and go into this 4-way, hide for a little bit and eat, and then go and kill this guy, and then go back to the spawner and these 3 guys. This is, I mean, it's still pretty dangerous, but if you like hide in here for just a second, then it will probably, if you like manage to eat, it'll probably be okay. But instead, he just decides to go back to this spawner, which, I mean, sure, you can do that. I mean, it's pretty like difficult playing a nether like this in like a very open fortress over a lava lake, with a lot of strays, with just a shield. But I mean, there's 4 blazes plus a spawner over there, which is, I mean, once you kill those guys, you could be out easy in the next like 30 seconds. So yeah, I don't know about going back to this spawner just to play this. I mean, if you want to play it safe, then sure, that's fine. But me personally, I do not think this is a good idea. Also, very nice rates, by the way. I think he's like 5 for 7 right now. Okay, mining out the spawner with 9 pickaxe. He has, as you can see in his inventory, 9 gold and a bunch of sticks. So he could make gold pickaxes now, which is what he should do. But yeah, it doesn't. Or he has also 6 beds, so he could blaze bed as well. I probably wouldn't blaze bed here. I think. I'm not really sure what I would do. I'd probably just make the gold pickaxes and mine it out with those. If I did decide to play spawner here, which is not what I would have done, I don't think. But either way, he should make gold pickaxes here. But yeah, get spotted by that guy, which is annoying, like as the blazes spawn, but manages to block it off in time. Then, oh yeah, is it this last guy? It must be, right? Yeah, that last guy drops like perfect timing as the wood burns. Now is out at like 9:38 or whatever it is. Yeah, 9:38. So okay, now this is something I was very confused about when I first watched it. So he leaves Nether and changes FOV to 35, which I believe is the FOV he uses for normal accurate eye throws, because he doesn't use like 1080p screen. But so I think like 35 FOV is just the FOV he has to use for accurate eye throws, which is fine. But then this eye throw is not accurate. It's like slightly off. You can tell like this isn't lined up with the left side of the center pixel. And that would be fine, except for the fact that he doesn't use alternate standard deviation. This is just this, like the calculator thinks that this is a completely accurate eye throw right now, because he haven't got the little indicator that says that it's using alternate standard deviation. I don't know if Max has that set up at all. If he doesn't, then he should, and if he does, then he should have used it. But yeah, like this, you can see. I mean, this is a good way to do an inaccurate eye throw. Like as you swim up, like this is a good way to do it. But to do an inaccurate eye throw, you don't need to lower your FOV and be like this accurate. But yeah, like also judging by these offsets, his standard deviation is probably pretty low. So doing a quote unquote accurate eye throw, whilst it actually being off by like a big margin for an accurate eye throw. This, I don't think it's like, I don't know. I wouldn't trust what the calculator says here, personally. Like, and you can see when he does his second eye throw, like it's none of these offsets are it. So yeah, it's a bit weird the way he did that. Yeah, he also lowered his FOV to 35, and then once he gets to the second eye throw, I'll talk about this a bit more. He gets the dolphin, by the way, which is good. Also, just mentioning the eye going in a very good direction, like perfectly away from 0, pretty much. Okay, so yeah, now throws his second eye and lowers to 35 again. Now, this is okay, right? Normally you lower to the same FOV for all of your eye throws, except for the fact that his first eye throw was underwater. And when you're underwater, your FOV shrinks. So you need to have a different FOV to account for that if you're doing an accurate eye throw underwater. Obviously, this wasn't really like a perfectly accurate eye throw. So I don't really know. Maybe he just went to 35 FOV because that's what he's used to doing for eye throws, and it doesn't really matter for inaccurate ones. But yeah, it's just a bit strange because you should be using different FOVs for underwater and like out of water eye throws. So yeah. Okay, okay. Now does a proper accurate eye throw with pausing. And you can see this offset minus 860 minus 1612. This was none of the offsets from the first eye throw. So you can tell that this first eye throw was not very accurate. And like I would like to see, he doesn't have it set up, but the setting on Ninja Brain Block where it shows you the angle error, I would like to see what it says here, because I'd imagine the first eye throw is pretty off, but then the issue is like the calculator doesn't know that. So the calculator could very well say that the second eye throw is off and go with one of the first eye throws offsets. So I don't really think this is a very good way to do triangulation. Obviously, it works here, but I don't know. I don't think this is a good way to do it. Maybe that first eye throw is accurate enough to the point where it still works just fine, but I don't know. I wouldn't really trust it that much if like I had to play it like this. But anyway, now off to the stronghold. This is, I mean, what, 500 blocks? So in total, maybe like a 700 block stronghold, which is pretty good. Like 200 of it being ocean travel. Yeah, this is a pretty nice stronghold. Pretty bad terrain though, taiga and mountains, which is a bit annoying. But you know, what can you do? Still a very good seed. So yeah, this is all. I mean, this is. Oh, actually, I do want to talk about this. He lowers his render distance to 8, like way before reaching the stronghold, which I wouldn't say is a good idea because that means when you're about the stronghold, all of the mobs are going to spawn in that 8 chunk radius around you. And so there's going to be more mobs in the stronghold, and it's going to be harder to do preemptive, especially in 115, where you only have 100% entity distance. But yeah, this is just getting to the stronghold. Oh, actually, funny thing that he looks an Enderman here. That's just quite funny. But he also does have to leave his boat behind, which, I don't know, it doesn't really matter, but if he needs to get an extra pearl in the end, that could be a little bit annoying. But yeah, just getting to the stronghold now. And it's this chunk digging down at what 12, 11 dig down, which is very good. Also could be using gold pickaxes, and here he does actually realize that now and crafts them, which is good that he did at least realize it for the dig down. But yeah, still should have had those from the nether at least. Now preemptive. Yeah, this preemptive is, you can see, like the biggest spike is like this way. And it's even got 3 entities here, like 3 entities and a massive spike. You would obviously go this way. Like I would go this way, like everyone would go this way. But yeah, it turns out that it's not actually this way, which is kind of a scam. But you know, that's just Minecraft, I guess. But yeah, the fact that it was like so like obviously this way, even though it wasn't obviously this way, he doesn't really go very deep. Like he checks like 3 rooms deep, which for such a big spike, I don't know, I probably would have checked further that way. But he decides to go back and then go down mid, which ends up being the right play. And it's a 3-eye, which is cool. So he doesn't need to craft any more eyes, and it's just in at 1309 or 1308 or 1309. I can't really tell. So yeah, this is like what, the 7th fastest indenter or something of all time, which is pretty good. It is pretty funny that the 7th fastest indenter ever is the 2nd fastest run of all time. Like, that's quite funny. But you know, that's just Dragon being bad. Not really much else to that. But yeah, also starts to dig up here and then sees that it's open at the back, but then still continues to dig up. It like barely makes a difference because he has pearls to get to the middle, so like he's gonna make it to the middle in time, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, it's obviously just a bit faster to go out the back instead of mining up, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, sets up the obby, all fine. Only puts 5 beds into his hotbar, even though he does have 6. I guess he just didn't see that one, or maybe just like was under the impression that he only had 5, and then just like sort of put 5 and then didn't bother to check for another or something. But yeah, this run does lose a little bit of time to the fact that he gets a bad side perch and doesn't hit the 5 bed. But yeah, obviously, then gets the pretty average insta perch. You know, love to see. Also, I just realized here, he was like very close to looking at this Enderman. Like actually very close. That could have been bad. But that luckily did not happen. And then he does the bad side strat, which is good. Finally, someone doesn't choke a good run to bad side, but does hit a pretty terrible first bed. But I mean, that could be due to a number of things. You know, probably nerves being the main one, but then does hit 4 good beds after that. So if he hit a good first bed there, then this would be an even lower 14xx. But unfortunately, he did not hit the 5 beds, and also forgot that he had a 6 bed. So it ends up being a little bit slower. But I mean, it's still very good time anyway, so not exactly a huge deal. Yeah, manages to axe the dragon. So yeah, ends up being 14 was it 14 13. Yeah, 14-13 and 14-18 on retime. I don't know how he got 5 seconds of retime, but maybe some of that isn't completely accurate. I know he had quite a bit of pausing on the second die throw, but I didn't think it was 5 seconds, but maybe that is what it is. I don't know. But yeah. I think that's kind of it really. I don't really have anything else to say. Obviously I did point out a lot of stuff in this run, but it's not like this run was bad. Like obviously it's a sub 15. It's not a bad run. But it's just Insomniac has such a high skill ceiling that, you know, there's always going to be like a ton of mistakes in every run pretty much. Like even the 1356 has a ton of stuff that I would do differently if I could play it again. But yeah, still a crazy run. Obviously, it does help that he got quite lucky. I mean, obviously, a good run does have to be lucky, but you know, pulling the insta perch on a good end enter, that is, you know, pretty good. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Not really anything else I want to say, apart from the fact that, you know, congrats to Max again. Finally, another sub 15. Hopefully, someone else will get it soon. Probably in a few more secret. Or maybe like another one from me or Max or something. But I think Max is taking a couple weeks break, which is understandable. He did put in quite a grind for this, 101,000 attempts, and I think that's after like 101,000 after the 1508, I think. So yeah, it was like 160k in total, I think is what he said. So yeah, pretty big grind, but I mean, you know, you do have to grind for a good time. So yeah, congrats again, and yeah, I guess that's it.